Back with yet another episode. In the last episode, we built up this little house right here, which complements our bigger starter house right here. Now, our starter house, it's pretty much just the same as it's been. It's got our bed, it's got a little bit of storage, and that's about it. And that's why we built this house next door, because this one right here solves our problems. It solves our storage problems. In fact, I've slowly started moving a couple things in, but I still need to do a lot more of moving because currently all of my storage is just out here next to the river that we constructed and our stables up there. So today, there's a couple things I want to do, a couple things. I think we're going to build a pretty big sized build. Oh yeah, I built this tower, by the way. I know, I'm getting a bit distracted. But yeah, you can see, I think that tower right there, it really complements everything. Looking pretty nice, but I think we're going to build something here. So we're going to need to move our enchanting setup, and we might even need to move this little thing, which I constructed just for our episode 1, just to house our items. So today, we're going to need to build up this house. We're going to decorate it. I think we're going to put like a super smelter inside it. Maybe we'll figure out a way to put our enchanting setup inside. It's a pretty big size build. It's bigger than both of these, and it's probably bigger than both of them combined. So we're going to need a lot of materials. Some of that I believe that I should already have. Maybe I don't. I thought I had a good amount of wood. Oh, you know what? I think it's just inside. I think it's just, there's the stone. Yeah, so I have a good amount of oak, but I'm going to need to gather up some jungle, some spruce, and just quite a bit of that. We're gonna need to go to the trial chambers. So we better get our sword going. We probably will want to slap some more enchants on there, so let's just wait till we get up to level 30. And we're gonna want to go down to the trial chambers. Which, oh man, because I terraformed everything, I can't remember where it is exactly, but I think it's one of these. I know it's one of these. It's gotta be one of these. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, so we've got a ladder right here, which goes down to the trial chambers. So we need a ton of copper today. So that is where we are going to be headed. We're going to go down there. We're going to gather up a whole bunch of the copper. So you know what? I'm just going to get to level 30. We'll do an enchant on the sword. We'll gather up some more food, make a shield, and we're going to go down into the trial chambers. And we're going to try and just gather up just as much as we need. I don't really want to like mine out the entire chamber, just because of, since in the last episode we found out that Zero's in this world with us, so it might be kind of fun to do a little bit of a group trial chamber session. So I don't really want to mess up the whole trial chamber, so we're just going to gather up a little bit. I think I need maybe like 2 stacks or something, so we're just going to do that. And yeah, so let me gather up some stuff and let's go in the trial chamber. Alright, well that is about 34 levels. So where is my lapis? Probably inside. There it is. Now let's see what we get. I'm not looking for Bane of Arthropods, so that would probably be pretty good in a trial chamber. But I'm not really planning on doing the actual trial chamber. I'm more just looking to get a little bit of protection in case there are a couple mobs when I go down there. Man, this game hates me today. I don't want that. I'm just gonna... Okay. Okay, well, we've got one more chance. You know what? That's not that bad. That's actually pretty good. Looting, sharpness 4. It doesn't have unbreaking, which is what I did want as well. But you know what? It's okay, because what we can do is... Oh, we're gonna have to go back inside. Let's just grab 2 diamonds. And then what we can do is we can repair it up a little bit, just for 2 levels. Okay, hopefully this goes alright. Okay, and we're here. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so it doesn't even look like... Okay, well, there's just copper here. I did forget to bring ladders, so we are gonna have to just pillar up later. Got a little entrance way for next time. Let's just gather up some copper. So I think I need probably like... Is this waxed? Perfect. Okay. So yeah, I think I need like a stack of this weathered copper. And then I think I need like a stack of the cut copper. And then like half a stack of like the chiseled weathered copper. I don't know. Okay, so like the main things down there. Okay, that makes sense. Oh wait, I need these things. Can I craft them, or do you just find them? Hopefully I can just craft it. And mission successful. That was pretty easy. And my neck is broken or something. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, moment of truth. Yes, we can. And it makes 4 of it? Okay, yeah, we're definitely fine then. Let's just make half a stack of it. Perfect. Okay, yeah. Well, we got definitely more than enough. I think that's all we need. And then I'm gonna just gather up the rest of the stuff. It's something like 2,500 or something other materials. You don't want to see me do that. I'm probably gonna have to go all around the world to gather that stuff. Alright, and unfortunately gathering up the materials took a lot longer than expected. In here we've got all of the decorative stuff we're going to be using, and in here we've just got a whole bunch of the main blocks we're going to be using. We're using mostly some stone mixed with some moss. We've got some dirt and some packed mud kind of blocks. Those will work well with the oak, which also goes kind of well with the birch. We've got a little extension going on, which is going to add in some of the whiter blocks, and of course spruce for the roof. So yeah, pretty much pretty big build. It's gonna take up quite a bit of this space, which is why I had to do a whole bunch of terraforming. If you remember, this whole area used to be a stony shore. In fact, you can see right there all of the terraforming. It used to be a stony shore, and now it's not anymore. I don't know what we're gonna do about this edge. We're probably gonna put a cliff there, or something like that. Maybe just make it more like that. Extend that there. I don't know. I don't really want to be seeing that, so I'm not going to focus on that. Before I get into building this, I just wanted to say that shout out to Creo, as I used his build as some heavy inspiration for some of it. I'll leave his Instagram link in the description and a picture of the build on the screen right now as a reference, just so you can kind of see where I took inspiration from and all that. I did get permission to use this as a reference. So yeah, check out Creo below, and let's get on with this build. Alright, and the build is complete. Right there behind me. There we go, look at that. In comparison to a lot of the other stuff, I think that it kind of fits in. Probably not as good as I would want, just because I feel like on second thought, the copper is a bit too bright, even though I did try to mix in some of the warped blocks. So that might just be something we either remove and we replace it with something else, or we try and texture it a bit more, or something like that. But other than that, I think that it fits in pretty good. It definitely adds a lot because it's much bigger than a lot of the other builds. I think that definitely should mean that we should build some bigger stuff just so it doesn't seem like it's the only big thing around. But yeah, I think it's definitely looking good. Like I said, I've been expanding this grassy area behind just so it wasn't on a stony shore. And then in our next episode, we're probably going to build something right there. So now, as always, after we build something, we need to do some terraforming. So even though we've got the grass and all that, we don't have any of these little leaves, any of course dirt, anything like that I've added on the other builds, just like that. So that's something that we need to include to go right over there. Alright, and I've gone ahead and I've done some basic terraforming, as you can see. Just nothing too crazy, but you know, just a little bit of texturing, some moss, some green concrete, all of that. You can see over here though, I don't really know what to do yet about that, but all of this bit is looking pretty good. And if you did happen to get a glimpse, then you would have seen that I've already got some walls, some flooring, and the ceiling going on inside this place. I went with something pretty simple. I kept the copper with this. I decided to change out the green color that I have going on the outside for some more tough and stone kind of stuff. Thought that would complement the wood a little bit better. And of course, very simple ceiling. And yeah, so like I said earlier, we're going to put a little smeltering thing here. It's not going to be amazing, but I think we can probably get maybe around 11 furnaces in here. And then just so that we have an easy renewable system, we're going to put some lava cauldrons in this section. And then there we go. We're going to have an infinite lava farm with a mini little smelter. So I went ahead and I looked for an extremely long amount of time for some dripstone in a dripstone cave so that I could have dripstone on top of here so we could have the infinite lava and all of that. But I just couldn't find one. I couldn't find a dripstone cave, and all of my efforts weren't wasted, however, because I got all of this stuff, and in fact, I'm using my new smelter to smelt up all of the stuff. And you know, it's not evenly distributing it, but for the most part, it's perfectly fine. I've only been standing here like a little while, and it doesn't take long just to do that. So, yep, it's all working perfectly. It smelted it up pretty quick, so I'm really happy with having that. However, I do still need to go get the dripstone, so hopefully I'll be able to do that. I wonder if maybe dripstone caves are more common in the ocean or something like that. Just because I don't really know. I haven't found any kind of dripstone. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep looking. I'll bring you back when I hopefully find some, and then we'll get right to it. Alright, well, I was just looking for an above-ground dripstone cave, and while I haven't found that, I found a village with absolutely nothing useful in it. But I also found a ruined portal. I have already looked in the chest, but, you know, I figured it was worth sharing, because an enchanted golden apple, you know, that's actually kind of cool. It's actually kind of cool. It's not really that important, but if we ever got in any kind of sticky situations, then that would be useful. I'm just gonna have a little check down here, but I don't see any. Doesn't seem likely. I don't know, like, do these things, like, generate underwater? It doesn't look like. I just don't know if they're really that rare or not. Because it seems like I'm just really having a struggle finding them. I was just gathering up some leaves to finish off doing the interior when I noticed a little something outside, and you can see me gathering some emeralds, so you might be able to guess what it is. But let's just head around here. There's the llama, which means there is a wandering trader, and we have a couple mini blocks here. I don't have most of these blocks. I do have granite, but that doesn't really seem like an appealing mini block to me. Some azalea leaves. Those could be kind of cool. Maybe I will go get some tuff if I have any. I have green concrete. I might gather some of that. And let's get some pale oak saplings. That's really cool. Now we have this pale oak stuff. I don't think you have to plant it on anything specific. I honestly don't know much about the update. But yeah, as far as I know, that's done. I don't know how else it works. So basically, we've now got some pale oak, and yeah, doesn't look like I have any tuff. Yep, we actually do. Okay, yep, let's gather up some of that. Oh, you know, and let's gather up some of that green concrete I was talking about as well. There's some powder, and there we go. We've now got some green concrete. So let's head on back to the Wandering Trader. And oh, am I out of emeralds? Really? I spent over 40 emeralds? Okay, that's doesn't seem realistic, but wow, I guess I just wasn't paying attention to how expensive those pale oak saplings were. Well, I've got another 54 emeralds here, and let's get to that Wandering Trader before it turns nighttime and he goes invisible. Alright, we got the tuff, and we got the concrete. So we got a couple little mini blocks. Nothing else here really seems too useful. Podzol? I don't think I need that, really. I don't think I really need the rest of it. So, yep, thank you for your service. And this llama is still chill, so that's nice. We got a free lead out of that. I don't know where the other lead is. It's probably broken or something. But yeah, so, like I said, I'm still working on this interior. I'm pretty much almost done. You can see I've worked on this section. So you can probably see in the clip that I have dripstone, and it doesn't appear that I ever recorded a clip explaining where I got the dripstone from or anything, but I got the dripstone. It took over 5 hours. Got it, and we're good to go. I was just planning on putting a couple bits of leaves just right here. I didn't really know how it would look, but I figured I could try a little something. And yeah, I mean, I think it gives off the overgrown kind of vibe. I don't know if it's amazing. I mean, I could probably fix it up just a little bit. Yeah, I think that definitely does the trick. So yeah, just as a little bit of a but yeah, it's just a little bit of a thing. When you enter, we've got our super smelter right about here, and then it just transitions off into this kind of more scary, spooky kind of cabin. I used some dripstones up there. I used a bunch of books and paintings just to make it seem a little bit more like, you know, cool and interesting. We've got, of course, our lava section right here, which we can come here We can go over to our chest right here, grab a bucket, but we can go over here and just scoop up our lava and then go to the chest, deposit it, and there we go. Perfect, right? Am I right? I know I'm right. And like I said earlier, I got way too much iron as it took me so long to find those dripstones. So in that process, I got a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, this all isn't supposed to be there. But yeah, look at all of that iron. So let's craft all this down real quick. And now we have the fun task of doing this. After crafting this all down, we have over 3 stacks of iron blocks. 3 and a little bit over a half stacks of iron blocks. But again, this whole kind of area is looking just amazing, and this build really came out very nicely. Once again, shout outs to Creo. I'll leave his link in the description for just inspiring me on a lot of this section. So shout outs to him. I'll leave him down below. And yeah, this build really came out looking pretty nicely. Even the back of it isn't the worst, and from the back, it almost looks like a totally different build because of the white blocks here. But anyways, that's going to do it today. We built up this incredible build. We showed off the tower that we built and some of the work that we did in between episodes. We also built a little super smelter, worked on this really little interior, which I think came out looking pretty good for considering how little space there is. In fact, let's just go ahead while we're here and we'll grab some of that lava. Even though we didn't utilize all of the space in this build, it just would have been a bit more cramped to make a second floor out of it. So I think we went with the right decision, which was just making more of a cramped interior, but we still managed to fit everything in here. And we even have a little bit of space here in case we wanted to fit something else. But that's going to do it for today. Let me know if you have any thoughts, any ideas or things that you would like to see me do next. We have tons of ideas. You know, we really need to build a sugarcane farm, a cactus farm, all the farms. We don't have any farms or anything like that. So if you've got any ideas, let me know, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.